Welcome to the Lovecars on the Grid podcast, your global motorsport roundup with me, Tiff, Needell and Paul Woodman.
Welcome to Lovecars on the Grid, your global motorsport podcast roundup. There's not that much from last weekend in terms of motorsport, but there's plenty coming up that we're going to discuss and preview for next weekend, because that's an absolute beast. What was it this weekend? There was British GTs, there's that Le Mans Europeans.
The only international races really to talk about was the European Le Mans series. And this is a series that goes under the radar for me, and I can't get excited by it, which is why we don't report. It's around Paul Ricard, that awful track with red, white and blue, and you can't see where you're going. But some of the European Le Mans series, it doesn't have the GT1s, it doesn't have the hypercars, so you haven't got the big manufacturer, the variety. In fact, there's no variety at all. I was looking at, it's just not exciting because it was all LMP2s at the top class, and there were 17 of them. And the thing about LMP2, they allowed 4 manufacturers to get the franchise, the FIA, so you have to buy one of 4, because you're not allowed to modify these cars at all. And so one car becomes the best LMP2, so everyone buys the one car. So there were 17 Ulrika Gibsons, all identical, all droning round and round. I'm sure it's great for the drivers, and I guess they bring the money, and it's that sort of... But most teams now have 3 drivers. It was a 4-hour race. So including qualify, you've got 3 drivers who've got time on the track and qualify, 3 drivers. You only get about an hour's racing each for a big internet. I don't honestly see the appeal. But obviously they all want to move up to be LMP hypercar drivers in the future. So anyway, the 13 LMP3 cars, they're all Ligier Nissans. And the GTs, there are only 12 GT cars, 7 Ferraris, 3 Porsches and 2 Aston Martins. At least they look different. So anyway, they drove round and round, and congratulations. I forgot who won now, so I didn't look. But then the real story of the weekend.
It's like a single series racing.
Yeah. And they're not that exciting to watch. I mean, the sports cars at Le Mans to me was so many weird cars, weird teams would turn up. You adapt the car over the weekend. You change the air. If you slow down the straights, you put a different wing on the back, or you cut holes somewhere. And you're not allowed to do any of that. And I'll always remember what summed it up for me when I almost gave up LMP2 completely. Someone had a starter motor sticking. And so they used their ingenuity and their mechanic. They cut a little hole. That's that whole bodywork off for every driver's change. So instead they thought, right, we could hit it with a spanner if we cut a little hole in the bodywork. They were disqualified for modifying the bodywork from the... So the biggest story of the weekend was, congrats, Sophia Flörsch, this young German girl that's one of the fastest women, hasn't done W Series, but she's been quick in single-seaters. She was the girl, of course, that crashed in Macau. But she came second overall with a Dutch kid, Bent Viscal. So congratulations to her. Let's hype up the headline. And they only had 2 drivers. I still don't know. It's all financial reasons why you need 3 drivers. Anyway, the ELMS is droned around Paul Ricard, and I don't think it's very exciting. Whereas the NASCAR, which I still... Now, I understand, I tweeted, because it was the Bristol track this weekend, which they filled with dirt. It was this half-mile track.
Oval, yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's normally concrete, but they tried to get more exciting racing by having this dirt race last year. This is the second time. And because it was happening from midnight onwards, I watched it this morning at times 30. I think most NASCAR, you probably do want to watch it times 30 on recorded, because after 13 laps, because it was the new dirt, they all got dirt filled up their grills, and all the grills and all cars were overheating. So they had to have a yellow flag to clean grills off. And it does look a bit silly sometimes. And of course, every time a car spun, which is very often on the dirt, it was a full course yellow, and then they'll have to reset the field. It's 4 minutes and more adverts. So I know what some people say when it's really boring, but it was worth it. It's always worth it in NASCAR for the last 30 laps. And they were just brilliant. I mean, there was this guy out front, Tyler Reddick, the 8 goes, never won a race. He's been leading. Everyone thinks he's going to win a race one day. And he's a dirt driver, and his style suited the dirt. But he was being hunted down by Chase Briscoe, who's won once this year. And of course, when you win once, you're automatically into the top 16 playoffs at the end of the year. So it's not just winning a race, your first race. It also guarantees you're into the playoffs at the end of the season. Anyway, Briscoe chased him down. It was a great battle going on for third place between what was Logano, Larson and Blaney, and still really good race. And an overtaking manoeuvre could take those 6 laps, and nose inside, and the high groove became the quickest groove. And so Reddick was staying in the high groove, and Briscoe hunted him down. And of course, they push and shove. And last lap, last corner, Briscoe just got to his tail. So he went for the slide job, as they call it. Which is, you just dive down the inside and hope that you get as far enough ahead so you can slide up in front of the car you've overtaken. But he couldn't make it. And he got more and more sideways. And the back of his car just hit the back of poor Reddick. So they're both they're probably on the lock stops, trying to not spin. Please don't spin. But they both spun down to the bottom. And Kyle Busch came through to win. And Kyle Busch, he was booed and hissed at the finish line. But, Reddick...
Why is he disliked so much, Tiff?
He was always controversial when he started as a kid. He was always moaning and groaning about everything. And I think, he's just one of those loves to hate them characters. His brother, they love to hate his brother as well. There's the two Busch brothers. But, Kyle Busch has always said, I never get any luck and I never inherit. But he got so lucky last night. But, yeah, and of course, at the end of the race, the guy that pushed him off, Briscoe came out to apologise. They all said, I would have done the same, And it's that tension, that as soon as they get within the bumper, they're gonna make a move. There's just in their psyche, NASCAR drivers, last corner, last lap, you do what you have to try to win the race. So yes, I agree. Times 30. If I'm trying to get you to watch NASCAR, at least record it next time and stay till the end, because it always guarantees excitement to the end.
Good stuff.
So you're back in Britain, just quick, to the British GT up at Oulton Park. Fabulous. I didn't watch any of it today.
What's Oulton Park like as a circuit? I know.
Wonderful.
Is it?
Wonderful. You don't go there with your caterham. It'd be brilliant in a caterham. Just so much. Overtaking's hard. The GT2 cars, they're so big and wide and powerful that overtaking's not easy.
What's his name? Is it Paul O'Neill, the BTCC? I think he called it the... Was it him that called it the... Nordschleife of the UK.
Nordschleife of the UK.
I think it was him.
But it's about 15 GT2 cars, not GT2, GT3 cars and about 15 GT4 cars. Amazing field. Audi that nobody's had an Audi, the British GT, for a while. And Sean Balfour and Adam Carroll won the first race for an Audi. But now they're followed home by Merc and McLaren, a Lamborghini, a Merc and McLaren, a Bentley. There's 5 different makes in the top 7.
That sounds like
so much more exciting than LMP2. The second race was a bit of chaos. It rained, and then they had to all go off, and everyone was crashing under the safety car. The second race was won by McLaren, driven by Kelvin Fletcher, Mr. Emmerdale, who's a very quick amateur driver, because it's all pro-am in British GT. You have a pro driver and an amateur driver. And then only qualified, I think, overall for race one, about 14th of the entire. But, strategy, Martin Plowman drove a great race out front. And, one race the pros start, one race the amateurs start. Great entertainment. They had the GB3 and GB4 single seat, and the stars of the future. Luke Browning won 2 races. GB3 didn't finish the reverse grid race. GB4, our friend Alex Walker, who we saw in Formula 4 we were talking about last year, he won both the main races in the GB4, 7th in the reverse grid. A little shout out for Jessica Hawkins. While we're congratulating female drivers, Jess Hawkins, she won the reverse grid race in the, what are they called, the little front wheel drive hot hatch international, what they're called now. No, I don't shout too high about reverse grid wins, because Jess was 9th in the main event and got on the front row, but did a great job to win the reverse grid race.
God, I like Jess a lot, and she's brilliant.
Yeah.
Exceptional driver.
Value for money.
I bet you on her social media she didn't say, I won a reverse grid race. I bet you.
No, I won.
As I would do as well. I would.
Jade Edwards, Jade Edwards, who we all know love, is to the sprint cars this week, and we'll talk about her in a minute. She was a great win. Well done, Jess. I do try to avoid congratulating too highly reverse grids, but what's it called? The TCR. That's the champ, front wheel drive baby touring cars.
Cool.
So a good move. Just British Superbikes started their season at Silverstone. Glenn Irwin on the Honda won all 3 rounds. and Bradley Ray now on a Yamaha. Bradley was a real star about 3 years ago, but didn't get. He was on a BMW for a while. It didn't work for him. He had a second and a third. It was leading round 2 and dropped it on his own out front under a bit of pressure. Again, we talked about this, didn't we, at MotoGP at America? The leader, out in the front, you can still crash out, without anyone hitting you, which you'd never see in a car racing. So plenty of excitement still. There are not many events.
Yeah.
So we move on to next weekend.
Well, before we move on to next weekend, I've got a question for you, trivia question. You know motorsport very well. UK motorsport, Ipswich Witches, Peterborough Panthers, Newport Wasps, Leicester Lions.
Poole Pirates, my local team. You're talking Speedway.
I am talking Speedway, and it's not a little bit sad. It's incredibly sad because a veteran broadcaster in the UK called Nigel Pearson. He was famous for football, darts, and of course Speedway. He did so much for Speedway. He passed away this weekend. I think that's really sad. It's sad.
Just for 52 years old, a sudden illness, and boom. Yeah, really sad. So yes, our thoughts with his family.
Had a phenomenal voice, a really good voice. It's just these people just seem to say the right thing at the right time. They're so clever with their words. A bit like yourself, Tiff. But no, Nigel was incredibly clever, very talented, and will be missed. Will be missed by many, I'm sure. So our condolences.
The bikes were also doing the Le Mans 24-hour race last weekend, which I didn't follow much, but they raced around that stupid little Bugatti go-kart track, I'd call it. But amazing, to do that bike racing for 24 hours. I don't know how long they stay on. I don't know how long their stints are, but they probably do an hour and a half maybe, but maybe they do 3 hours. I don't really know, but
I bet somebody will know. Comments below, please.
Yeah, how long is a stint in a 24-hour bike race?
So next week is just rammed, absolutely jam-packed. We could talk for half an hour on this alone.
You'll need the time 30. We're going to record everything you'll be watching Tufham's 30 to catch up with it all.
Formula One is back, of course. It goes to Imola. It's a funny old schedule nowadays. Of course, it used to be Australia every time for the opening race, Brazil for the closing race.
I know, you knew where you were.
The big boys come in with the money and they want it in Abu Dhabi and Bahrain and et cetera, et cetera. But it's Imola next weekend, so it comes to Europe. And then
it goes off to America. Then it's Miami, isn't it? We go from Imola to Miami. So we go Australia, Italy, Europe, America.
When's Miami? Are we going to be there? Are we going to be in America then?
May the 8th.
Oh, we can't last that long in America. We're only there for
It's a good-looking track, Miami. Not designed by Tilke, designed by a British company's designed Miami, and I think it looks as though it could be a good racing track, Tilke, where you can overtake Tilke.
Talking of
turn.
Talking of US new tracks, Vegas as well. My goodness, that's going to be one for the calendar. Please, can we get an invite from somebody? Somebody must take pity on others and invite us on one of these.
I'll do afternoon beaches for you. I'll entertain your guests in your corporate. We'll come. But full Imola. Can Ferrari do it at home now? The start to the season they've had, is just phenomenal. And also in Imola, it's the first, they're having a sprint race on a Saturday.
Of course.
So don't forget, it's qualifying Friday. I quite like that. So Friday, we get the excitement of qualifying. Saturday, we get the excitement of a sprint race. Some people don't like it. I think it's all right. It's a bit of show. But the good change this year is that the guy that's on pole for the sprint race is the one that's in the history books as the pole position driver for that weekend.
Good.
As it should
I'm
be.
glad they listened to this podcast and made that decision.
Yes.
They said that right at the very beginning.
So I don't know it's a bit of a medium speed track. It could be more of a max circuit, Imola. I don't know. I don't think there's enough time to get
Carlos is the one to beat.
The Mercedes to go. Carlos must be in real pressure. I don't know. I think I'm hoping, I don't know. We don't want someone running away with the championship. But then again, if it's a Ferrari, it'd be great for the sport. That's the trouble with Ferrari. You always mob Ferrari there.
Especially in Italy, in Imola.
Well, yeah, because the Italians, I always feel when the Ferraris are finishing 8th and 9th, they're slow. I sort of like the whole Italian nation is sobbing away. They wear their hearts on their sleeves, which I love about the Italians. So,
well, we were with Vicky a couple of weeks ago, and she said it was Vicky Piria, and she said it was fantastic in Italy because the front page is now Forza Ferrari and everybody, red, and which is so they're so passionate about their cars. And if anyone's ever driven a nice car in Italy, it's like nowhere else in the world. The police, everybody encourage you to drive fast. And it's not like in the UK where people get road rage and maybe send a few gestures. It's the opposite over there. They're so passionate.
But I mean, yeah. So I can't see anyone catching the Red Bulls and the Ferraris though this weekend. I think it's going to take a bit longer for anyone to get there out. Well, it's only really going to be Mercedes that catches them. Well, McLaren are sort of hovering, but that could be interesting.
Yeah, but that
Alpine, of course. I mean, Alonso was fifth, wasn't he, in the quad before his whole weekend went wrong. So you never know. Alonso and the Alpine might start challenging them.
Yeah.
I don't know how many DRS zones they're going to be. How many slipstream opportunities are they going to create?
Oh, I can't wait for the Grand Prix. I'm excited.
Formula 2 and Formula 3. Formula 2, Formula 3, loads of races. That's 2 F2 races, 2 F3 races. In the meantime, the World Rally Championship is on. Probably starts on about Thursday and Friday. Where are they going now? I forgot where they're going. Too many places on it. Croatia, they're going off to.
Beautiful.
So we've got that must be a new rally, so that'll be a lot of interest.
BTCC's back.
And then, of course, I think for the home fans, BTCC is the big news up at Donington. They've got their flipping high, which I always think caused more trouble than they're worth, but that's just because I love motorsport as it should be and was. Because the Rally Boys, the World Rally Championship, were complaining they can't start a stage because the lights come on because their stupid hybrids aren't working. But I thought it was going to be like a push to pass, a boost. Apparently, from what I've learned so far from testing, it'll make about 0.3 of a second for a whole lap. So they're getting rid of success balance. So success balance is gone. So the new thing is that I don't know, it's about 15 seconds. I might be not getting that exactly right. So you've got 15 seconds of push to pass, push to have your little bit of electricity. So the championship leader won't be allowed any in qualifying. And then the second place will have 10 seconds and the third place. So you just have less and less complicated, I know. So in qualifying, it might make a difference. But I don't think in the racing, a little 0.3 of a second a lap, it's not going to blast you past. It may just help an overtake. But we really have to wait and see. But the quickest, Ash Sutton, quickest again, he's now, of course, joined new teams with Ford, with Dan Camish.
We're not going to mention this team anymore. We can't mention them anymore because they didn't give a sponsorship.
You can't say that.
Well, they didn't talk to us. We didn't.
Now I've forgotten their name on the card. They've got me going now.
Napa, Dan Camish, and Ash Sutton.
Brilliant. Cars look great. Really, so good luck to the Napa team. And there's still opportunity to sponsor this webcam. Lovecars on the road, sponsored by Napa. Of course, BMW is always strong. They were quick in testing. Colin Turkins and never to be discounted. I like Jake Hill coming out and being a BMW. And he's, of course, Martin Blundell's protege. And, of course, we've got Plato. Jason's back, what he thinks is a more competitive car. The privateer Hondas have always been strong. It's always been the best car, I think, to have as a privateer. So Jason's up there. He's quickest of his team.
So your mate Jason Plato, is he going to win a race in his last season?
Well, he's got to win 3 because he's
got no chance. I say that with the greatest respect.
He'll be hunting for reverse grid wins. He was about 7th or 8th quickest. He'll be bribing them to pull the ball out of the pocket to put him on pole for every reverse grid race. So there's still a chance. No, he could win outright, but I think the Fords look too strong.
He's a phenomenal driver, but even if you get the reverse grid and you get a bit of luck, it's so hard to stay up front in these sort of races, isn't it?
Yeah, but there's so much to look forward to up there. As I said, Jane Edwards she's out there for another season. She's Jason's teammate now, so she's in the same team as Jason. So I'd like to see those two locking horns at the first corner. That would cause some ruckus, but it will be brilliant. I mean, it's always good touring cars because you've got a whole support grid. There's a new Formula 4 championship, new cars for Formula 4 single-seaters, the usual Porsches, Ginettas, Mayhem, and that's a whole day's television, isn't it, on Sunday? From like 11 a.m. to 5 or 6 p.m. you could just watch BTCC and be quite happy, but you've got to fit a Grand Prix in and check out the World Rally Championship at the same time and check out on the MotoGP.
You ring your little bell, won't you? And the butler will come and bring you your champagne and caviar, etc.
MotoGP. Is that Aragon this week? I don't know if it's Aragon or the other Portuguese track. I've got my notes in a mess. But anyway, Portimao. Okay. So Portimao for MotoGP. It's just awesome just to watch them go around that track. That last corner, that really fast downhill. So MotoGP, and what else have we got? Superbikes at Assen, again on my board. The NASCAR goes to Talladega. If there's another race you can watch at times 30, where they all go around 200 miles an hour, all full throttle, full side traffic, bump, 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 200 miles an hour, bump, 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 until it all goes a bit wrong and someone gets pushed sideways with it. Because if you come from too far back and hit too hard, it can just put the car sideways, and you have the big one, as they call it, the accidents that happen at Talladega. And the last lap will just be worth having that recording, so you can just watch the last laps, because whoever's leading probably won't be leading at the end of the last lap. They'll be in the wall. So much motorsport to watch, and there's club racing all over the world as well. We're in a very healthy state, really, motorsport at the moment. The fact that we can talk about so much is amazing.
So can we leave with this, Tiff? Can we leave with this week? For those of you that are listening, I have my first and only ever trophy in my hands right now from my third place Sprint Action. We're going to do a video. The video will be live. It might even be live tonight. The Caterham Roundup as well. So that's quite interesting, because it talks you through the different levels of Caterham as well, from Academy to Road Sport 270 and so on.
I meant to mention Formula 3 at Imola, a sad story. Now I'm beginning the story and I can't remember his name. The three kids that did the Autosport, Zach and Ollie Behrman and the Red Bull boy. Oh, I've got to get. He's been ill. He's got this. He can't keep weight on, and he's had to withdraw from his Red Bull sponsored Formula 3 ride. And he's one of our leading young kids. So now I'm going to have to tweak his name, because I hate it when I can't remember names and I'm going mad.
So what's the matter with him?
Yeah,
I got it here. What's the matter with him?
He's just got this. He can't have any energy, and he can't put his weight. I don't know what the actual cause of it is, but he can't do the race. He's had to withdraw from the race this weekend. He found it for me. Yeah. Edgar. His sister's racing him.
Oh.
It's a big pause now. You've got Edgar. I've got Edgar.
It's a huge pause. Anyway, we'll find out, and we'll put it in here somewhere. I'm sorry that.
So very best of luck to him to get better. To have this season taken away from him. When he was right up there, one of the leading British lights, is really frustrating for him. So get well soon.
Yes. Best wishes, Edgar.
And we'll get
if that is your name, we'll get your name below.
Tom Edgar. Can't remember names. So many notes. I've just rushed in from my wife's lunch. We've had a nice long lunch today, so I'm probably a bit dizzly, to be honest.
Well, happy birthday to Mr. Needell, and thanks for joining us always. See you next week.
Cheers.